Hi, everybody. Just wanted to chat with you just for a little bit. Going to make short videos, I guess, during the week, 15-minute videos just to talk to you. This is Dave Emmons and the Dave Emmons Show. And I'm going to have guest Dr. James Weldon will be back with me sometime this week, and we'll probably have that produced for next week released. And David White show is coming up soon. And I'm working with WODY Radio, Odyssey Radio out of Maryland, and we're syndicating with them. And I am also doing some projects I'll probably doing on my own, especially this one here, the weekly 15-minute talk. And I want to talk about current events, but first of all, I want to show you some pictures that was not included in my book, What Do They Want? And that's a book that's been released a couple of months ago, and it's on Amazon and Barnes & Noble and Kindle. And if you'd like, look it up and take a look at it. But these pictures are not in the book. I have plenty of pictures in the book. Probably enough pictures there to, I guess, satisfy the reading people. But also, the book has a lot of details on these same very stories about these pictures that I'm about ready to show you. And I hope that they come through. I'm having trouble with Zoom, and everybody's having all kinds of trouble. We'll get into that later on, but I'm going to start with this picture here. This is a mist, a kind of a ghostly mist that was in my house in Godfrey, Illinois, back in 2011, somewhere around between 2011 and 2012. It's recorded in my notes, but I'm just going to shoot at that. You see this mist, looks like an arm. I'm in my office, and I felt a presence of energy that come in, and I wondered what was it. So I took a picture, and there you'll see a dark spot there and a dark spot up here. I don't know what those dark spots are, but this smoky looking, it looked like an arm or a body or whatever. But that was unusual. It was right there in my office, and I felt the energy, so I just figured, okay, something's going on. Next picture. This is a crow that I ran into out in Arizona right after I visited Travis Walton in Snowflake, Arizona. I went to the petrified forest, and this crow followed me at each station. I don't know if he was looking for food, but I didn't have anything to feed him, so he wasn't hanging on for the food. He seemed like he was very intelligent. He was watching me. And you're around the Hopi Indian area out there, the reservation, and these birds they can transfix into, I guess, anything. They can shape shift or whatever. I've seen another interesting bird is an eagle. It's a tan eagle. Out in New Mexico, and looked almost like they look at you like they're human, or they know something. Well, this bird kind of did the same thing with me. After about the third or fourth stop that I made, and he followed me all the way each stop, I got a little bit cold chills up my spine. But yeah, he was interesting. So if you're out there on Indian country and you go through these folklores and you find out about animals and birds and things, they do just whatever, we don't know yet. We're looking at that. The other picture here, this is a video. And this is, I was looking at my camera, trail camera in my house, and up here to the top you see where something looked like a head that was looking at the camera or whatever I was looking at. Here's another run of it. I'm standing there taking care of the camera, trying to get it set up, and this, whatever was watching me right there, the bright spot, looked like a head, that was watching me and seeing what I was doing. And I thought, okay, that's interesting. Here's my friend that I met in 2010 in October in Sedona, Arizona. This is Hiroko. This is the one I wrote about in the book. She's the hybrid, or whatever she was. Don't know exactly for sure. But 6 months later, when her and two young boys come and visited me, she had her back turned to me. The story's in the book, but this is another picture. I've had people ask me, "Do you have other pictures, Dave, of this lady?" I said, "Yes, I do." And there's one more of her when we stopped in and we just had breakfast. She ate just very little, but then she went to the bathroom afterwards. That's probably not her type of food, but she's a very interesting person. Next picture here. This is called the Michelin Man, and I had a friend who was a MUFON investigator in Missouri, and he was a really nice guy, and he looked at my pictures and he told me it was a Michelin Man, and I didn't know what it was, but here it is, Michelin Man, and he's standing pretty tall. He's got a white uniform, but they got concentric circles around it, around his uniform, and this is what this ex-colonel in the Air Force told my friend in an interview. He sent me the interview. He said they worked with these people. They were tall, whites with these concentric type Michelin Man uniforms, and he was just standing at the bottom of my stairs. There was not a post. I don't have a post at the bottom, so it's not a post. It's way too long and tall to be a post anyway. So if you take a look at that, that's not it at all. The next picture is he went up a couple of steps. He's moving up, and he's going actually up into my bedroom. And so that's a scary thought in itself. And I thought, oh no, I don't want that to happen. But okay, we'll show this one. This is him, the Michelin Man, when he got pretty much up the stairs, and he looked back, and he looked back at the camera like he was toying or playing with the camera. My infrared trail camera was on the kitchen table and was shooting that direction and at the bottom of the stairs, and that's his head. And it looks like the same head that I've seen looking over my shoulder a while ago in the picture that I had. And he was looking at me while I was working with my camera, trying to get it set just right. So he was kind of a playful dude. That's him again. Okay. And what I'm going to do now is that's in They, What Do They Want book. The stories are all there. I have more pictures to show, and I will show them as I go along on my weekly updates. I want to talk about current events now, something that's bothering all of us, and especially myself. The gas prices, number one, $5.15 here in Illinois. And we have inflation, 30-40% higher on some grocery items, and some items you can't get. And who do we blame that on? Well, I'm not going to get into the politics and into the grass about this whole thing about the political parties. But we have the border crisis that's going on. We have the shootings, the mass shootings that's going on, and which is terrible. Nobody wants that. We don't know where these monsters come from, but I think we need to get a hold on, not the gun, but we need to get a hold on the people that are using the gun to do these terrible, horrendous crimes. And I think what they're talking about now is the Second Amendment issues. Number one, buying an AR-15, having to be 21 to buy it, I'm not against that. I'm an ARA member, an ex-combat veteran. Matter of fact, my next book, Senseless Wars, will be out in about a month, and I'll be talking about this, about people dying for nothing, dying just because of money or some greed over other countries. But getting back to the gun issue, to me, the 21 to get an AR-15 sounds like a good idea, and then be able to buy other guns at 18, like shotguns or hunting guns or whatever. But that sounds like an okay idea. I know a lot of guys will probably be pissed off at me about that. But also, the other thing is the red flag laws. Now, the red flag laws with this administration would be a bad idea, because the red flag law to them would include everybody. But I think it should be in a policy, and also the law, that only a person like a friend, a close friend, or a family member, or somebody who works with this person and they know them, a coworker, or even go to school with them and know them, and they tell the police about this person might have an emotional problem, they could be dangerous to themselves or somebody else, so you might want to look at them. Now, if it comes from somebody close, coworker, a school friend, a friend, or family member, I think those are legitimate, complaints for a red flag law. and maybe investigate this person and find out what's going on with them. But can you imagine, with the loose laws that we have now with the DAs in these certain cities, that what happens if you go to a convenience store, let's say, and you get into a little argument about standing in line or whatever to somebody, just a brief argument, and they know you, they know your name, but they don't know you. They don't know who you are, but they probably find out. They go and call the police, and they throw a red flag, warning up on you, and then the police come to your door the next day, and they want your guns. Well, that would be terrible, because that person does not know who you are. If they draw the line on who can, send a red flag to the law about a person, it should be family, friends, and somebody who knows this person, coworker, or even going to school with them and knows them very well to do that. And also the waiting period, 3 days, maybe 7 days for a certain rifle, is not a bad idea. We have that here in Illinois. Matter of fact, we have background checks. You have to have a FOID card in order to buy a gun or ammunition, and they do a background check on you. And also, if you carry a gun, they got a carry law license that they do a big background check on you across the country, FBI, the whole shebang. And I'm not opposed to background checks, even if they just want to do the preliminary background check like they do us here in Illinois. Even as much as Illinois has laws about guns and people and background checks, we still have in Chicago, not in all the rest of the state, but just in the Chicago area, we have these crazy gunfights every weekend and every day. Actually, people dying and getting shot, up to 40 people on a long weekend. That's kind of heavy. I mean, that's kind of scares the security out of us, let's say. And we have these people who run these states and run these towns that are actually causing some of this for their loose laws and not being tough on crime and not stopping crime at all. And what the guns that the criminals have are illegal. Why don't they go after them and then have a special task force like they did in New York until they got rid of them and defunded them? That's just defunding the police is a bad idea. The whole thing is causing massive crime waves across the country. We need to get back to democracy. We need to get back to God. We need to get back to our Constitution and have a law-abiding country again. And to me, I know that worries a lot of people. It gets them down. I wake up each day and say, okay, I hope there's a change coming. I hope there's something going to happen today that's going to make us all feel better. Like even if the politicians get along on a few laws and pass them, especially the border, the inflation, the gasoline prices. The gasoline prices were made by policies. Actually, when Biden come in, he signed some regulations that destroyed. We were energy independent, and now all of a sudden, after those regulations were destroyed and the pipelines are destroyed, and just by a stroke of a pen, our gas prices went up. We can't blame Putin. We can only blame Putin as being a monster who's killing all these people in Ukraine, and that's a shame. That's really bad, and helping them is fine, but we got to be careful how far we step on that issue, especially with the Red China and North Korea, Russia and Iran being all in the same type of group, and they're all enemies of ours, that's for sure. Don't ever think that Red China is not an enemy of us, because they're tracking us pretty close, and they know that now we have a weak administration, and anything can happen. When you're weak, things like that happen. It's like a bully. You ever heard about bullies in school? I was bullied around until I started fighting back. And then I found out that the kids didn't want to pick on me after I started fighting back. So strength will actually do away with fights and wars. If you're strong, they won't come after you. And we've had several presidents talk about that. Reagan for one, and then of course Trump talked about the same thing. Strength through force or whatever. Some countries only understand force because terrorism and things of that nature. But we're all in this together. Hopefully we can bring the prices down, stop this inflation, stop the border leak, and stop all this crime, this massive crime wave by passing decent gun laws, like a waiting period, a background check, just a preliminary one that would catch a lot of things, and also the age limit 21. I'm all for that. And I know you guys think, okay, you're a gun owner, you're an ex-combat guy and the NRA. Yes, but I'm also for common sense when it comes to these types of things, so we can track down these people who are not capable of owning a gun, either through emotional problems or through felonies. And that's the big thing on my mind today, and I know that's on your mind. And of course, we have another possible virus coming along, in which we hope that we can all handle fine. And just protect your own families, defend your own families. That's all you can do. And vote whenever you get a chance to vote. Vote for the right person who you think is going to pull us back to democracy. And also just have love, faith, and cherish your kids, your families, and the people that you care for, your friends. And just all get together like we usually do in the U.S. We can all get together, even both parties. This is Dave Emmons, Dave Emmons Show, signing off. Thank you for listening.